Right, there's something here on the end of some hairy string or jute twine, and there's a little oh, there we go. it's a little you know, those things you have on your hood to tighten your hood up, little toggles you have on your hood. Well, it's in the shape of a little hand grenade, and you just press the top down and it runs out. And we've got a nice little leather pouch. It's quite heavy, this. I know what's in it. I know what's in it. It's quite heavy. It's a nice little leather pouch. It's well sewn. So that's the leather pouch there. I'm interested to see how the pouch is made, because you know, it's all about copying what other people do. He's made a leather pouch and it's well made, so I'll be able to make one now. I'll put that in here temporarily. Right, so what we've got here is another packet of charred carbonised netting, and that would go with the contents. There's another nice little piece of leather here, and that's a piece of chert or flint. That's definitely flint. Sharp edged waxy looking rock that's very hard. And very brittle as well. So I've got four pieces of rock there, flint, which is chert. I'm not sure how it's made. It's like a smooth quartz material, very smooth quartz material, but it's flint. Ancient people used to make knives and arrowheads and things out of it. And that's a nice piece of leather, presumably if I'm doing my flint napping or whatever, just to protect myself with and protect the bag from the sharp edges of the flint. This looks like a piece of cotton or lint, and this will be what the sparks come off when I strike it against the flint. And it's got the file, so it's made out of a file, and I can hold the file edges and strike it with the smooth sides, and then the flint should flake pieces of metal off, and the metal should burn because they're only very small. Now in this light, the sparks from this will be much cooler and much dimmer than the sparks from the ferrocerium rod. So in this light you might, and I might not see them. If I put it down in the dark here, I might see it, but you won't see it. I can see sparks, it's sparking. So I'm not going to do it. Well, I might do it actually. I don't want to set myself up for failure though, but let's have a go, because it's very, very windy here. So I've taken a piece of the charred material, Now it's hit and miss how many times it's going to take, because you might get sparks, they might not go in the right place. So you just bang away at it and see what happens. I can see for a start most of the sparks are getting blown underneath, but I think in this wind I might be setting myself up for failure, but it would be good if it worked. It will work in a different environment, but I am getting sparks. We're a light. It's a light. It's a light. Can you see that? Can you see it? I had to let go, the wind was blowing it so fast, the light. Anyway, so we succeeded. And in this wind, and anyway, that was fantastic. So, right, let's put this away now. Let's not get too excited. I can't remember exactly how it was packed up now, in all my excitement. I'll put this in the lint here. I'll put the stones, the flint. It doesn't have to be flint, it could be chert. Well, flint is a type of chert, but doesn't have to be flint, but flint's probably by far the best. And I haven't found it yet. I did find a piece of flint here in this, near this location, not far from this location. I found a piece of flint, so I thought I might have a source of flint here, but I haven't yet found another piece. So that's work in progress, because if you haven't got any flint in your area, one place you might try is a fancy gravel specialist. You know, people get fancy gravels in the gardens. Well, some of those fancy gravels are quite often flint. So that's working, fully tested. Fully exciting. Right, next one. There's something shiny in here. I'm trying to get the shine, whatever it was I saw that was shiny. I think I've got what was shiny. I think I have. No, I haven't. No. Alright, this is 7 feet of Pathfinder tarred bank line. Now this is, I used garden string, but this is glued as well on my pack frame. I'm just checking I'm still recording there. I've glued it, so I'm not too worried about it, but I wasn't happy using garden string jute for my pack frame. I've just had a lot of weight on this pack frame, gathering wood a bit earlier on. And what I did want, there's perhaps not enough to do the whole of the pack frame on here, but there's enough to experiment with. What I did want was tarred bank line, because it would have, I would have been able to put a lot more force on it to tighten the bindings up, and I would have been able to seal the ends, and it would have been a lot less prone to slipping. So that's something I can experiment with and look for a larger source. Right, something caught my eye there. I've got it now. All right, I didn't know that. I didn't know this was in. Is this a surprise item? Because obviously, had I said, left a note on his original video for the when he was putting together the 1,000 sub giveaway, and I don't remember what looks like a waterproof container. It is a waterproof container because it's got a seal there. Okay, there's nothing in it, but there will be before long. So that was the shiny item I saw in the bottom. waterproof container. It's made out of aluminium, so it's very light. So the most weight of it is going to be whatever you put inside it. So that's a good item. Good place to store some matches and a striker, perhaps. Right, I'm going to have to sit on something. Guess my bottom's getting cold. There's one item in here, I know what it is, I'm saving it to the last. It's by far what you would consider it the most essential bushcraft item, I think. Right, let's have a look what we've got here. Now then. Right, we've got an army surplus store very close by to us. One of these days I'm going to do a video, well, I've got to ask the owner first, because I'd like to show everybody around. It's quite extensive. He does most of his work mail order, but he has got a shop on an industrial estate, and so I did think of getting one of these, but now I've got one, so I won't need to. I can get something else instead, a Norwegian shirt or perhaps. Shall I open it? Yeah, let's open it. It is, I'm going to have to, it's so well stuck down, I'm going to have to, oh no, there we go, I can get it open without actually destroying the bag. So it's a military type head over thing. You can use it, it's got some instructions here. You can use it as a scarf, you can use it as a face mask, you can use it as a hat, a balaclava, or just if you're wearing a helmet, like when I'm wearing my bicycle helmet where it's got the big holes in it where the wind can whistle through. So, just take my hat off. Put that bag in there. It's quite light as well, but it'll keep the wind off. So it's just like a tube really. So it's just a tube. I don't know all the ways to wear it. I haven't studied the instructions, but you know, it's fairly balaclava, and it keeps a little bit of covering makes a big difference. So I might keep that on for the minute. I'll put my hat back on because it is cold. Right, next out the bag. Lucky dip. Okay, we know what this is. This is fatwood shavings. Fatwood shavings. So wood with a lot of resins, oils in it. So a flint and steel would not start this, but your ferrocerium rod would. But I'm not going to get it out in this wind because it'll just be off. It'll clear your nose as well. It'll clear your nostrils out. I love the smell of fat wood. If you've never dealt with fat wood, you need to get some fat wood. And if you have a cold, get some fat wood shavings. If your nose is blocked up, get some fat wood shavings. Breathe in deep. It's not unlike eucalyptus oil. Right, that's enough of that. Right, I suspect we're on the last item now. I'm just going to have a, oh no, hang on, there's something else in there. Alright, we've got here, it's down as snare wire-ish. It's wire. Wire's a really, really useful thing. When I did just a t-shirt and I was cycling back to back home after abseiling off the nab, one of the nuts and bolts holding my back pannier came off, lost it completely. And I had a lot of weight with climbing rope and climbing gear on the back of that pannier, and that pannier was giving it rocking about. So I had to fix it. Well, I didn't have a nut and bolt in my pocket to fix it with, but I found a piece of fencing wire, and I poked a piece of fencing wire through the hole, bent it over, and there we go. Job done. The job was so well done. I went shopping with it, still botched like that, and it's still botched like that now. I will fix it, but wire, you can use it for all sorts, not just, you know, snare wire-ish. You can use it for all sorts. So it's always good to have some wire. You can fix things with it, you can tie things up with it, you can make a snare with it, do all sorts with it, and it's fireproof. You could hang things in the fire with it. Right, snare wire, brilliant. Right, we must be down to the last item now. Hang on, I've got something else. I've got something else. It's another, oh, it's a whistle. It's a whistle. I have an old style police whistle, which is heavy. And I have a plastic whistle with a compass on it, which I've checked, and it is a very good indicator, and a thermometer on it, which is a good indicator. But that's a very light whistle. Let's see if it works. It works. It's very high pitched. Very high pitched. I better not blow it too much, somebody might think there's somebody in distress. So, it's a whistle and it works, and it's very light. So that, I didn't know that was in either. Right, it must be on the last item now. We're definitely on the last item. So the last item is a Mora bushcraft black knife with a scabbard, or a sheath if you want to call it a sheath. I'm going to take it out. I've got a few fixed blade knives. I know Mad Dog Survival did a 3 blade fixed knife, or your best 3 fixed knife blades open tag, and I've got that in my mind. I haven't done it yet, so I will do it. Maybe this one will figure, maybe it will, we'll see. Right, I'm going to open it. I'll use my other knife to open it. I'll just read this out first before I end up cutting through it. A heavy-duty bushcraft and survival knife with a tough blade. A choice of several different models, designed for different purposes and intended applications. Whether you're an outdoors person or a survivalist, there's a bushcraft knife for you. And then it presumably says exactly the same thing in several different languages. So, made in Sweden. So this is the carbon version. It's been blacked. And then it gives me some specifications. Blade length is 109 millimeters. So technically, that would be illegal to carry round in this country unless you had, and could prove you had, good reason, good purpose. You were legally going about your bushcraft activities in an area which you were allowed to do, which I believe I am here. Obviously you don't want to use anything in a too open way, or in a, certainly not in a threatening way, carrying openly round, you know, people out picnicking and things. So anyway, we should be okay here. So I'm going to open this up. I just want to open it up without ripping it to pieces, if you like. I don't know whether you can open it up without ripping it to pieces. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, I'm being a bit careful because I don't know how sharp the blade is. It's got a rubberized handle. I can feel straight away my hand is sticking to the handle. It's got a good grip handle. It's dangerous doing things with one hand and having a knife in the other hand. The way I test whether a knife is sharp or not is I scrape a bit of my nail off. It's sharp. It's sharp. I'm just looking at... Okay, I just had to check. The thing switched off, the battery went flat, and I just had to check we were still recording sound. So I'll just put this battery away. I've lost one. Right, I put a rock in there and I put a rock on here so it didn't blow away. So we're on to the last item, which is the knife, which has a soft rubber grip and is very sharp, and I'm not sure what you call the grind, Scandi grind, straight, it's not, I won't go into technical detail because I don't know enough about it. But it is, I mean, it's going to be a nice, it's got a nice little point on it for mucking about, doing little divots for your bore drill and stuff like that. I can put my thumb on there and my thumb will stick on that rubber. It's got a little knobbly bit here, I don't know what this knobbly bit's for. I think that's just, it's just a continuation of the plastic that the rubber's moulded around, and I don't have any fear how deep the tang is. I don't have to worry how deep it is. I think more of knives, if you can't get better value for money, let's say that. I've got a friend who makes knives, and he makes some stunning knives, but he's got to charge a bit for them because he puts an awful amount of work in them, and the scales of the knives as well. He puts an awful lot of work into those, and I've got two of his knives that I just won't use. They're just too good to use. I've got one that I don't abuse, but I use it a lot. So what I'm saying is a handmade knife is going to have some expense to it. This is a factory made, machine made knife, and but it'll represent massive value for money, and it'll do the job. And I wouldn't like to lose it, but obviously I'm not going to cry if I lose it like I would. Well, I'm not going to cry, but you know, like well, this is just a prototype, but he made this one as well. But something like that, you can take it out in the woods and not worry too much about it. So that's I kept this till last because this is the one I would consider. You know, if you had to go into the woods and just take one item out of this box, then that would be it. I could probably get a fire started eventually with that knife. we'll put it to the test one day. Right, so it sort of clicks in, and then I've got a bit on the scabbard there, or the sheath, where I can push my thumb against to get it out, and it clicks in. I don't want to shake it too vigorously, it might come out, spin round and stick in my leg. Then I'd have to get the first aid kit out. And then we've got a few attachments here, 2 attachments to fit onto my belt. So for maximum security I'd put that one on my belt, and then for just clipping over something over my belt I could put that one on, or I could have none on at all. You know, that would have been enough, wouldn't it, eh? That would have been enough. I mean, some of those things are outstanding as well. The ferrocerium rod, the flint kit. This is quite warm. Right, I'm going to pack it all up now. I'm going to pack it all up. It's going to fall out, isn't it? How am I going to do this? Be safer, now I've unpackaged it, it would be safer in the sheath. So I'm going to leave that in the sheath. And in fact I'm going to attach one of these. I'll attach this one for now. Let's take the knife out a minute. Only in desperation do you read the instructions. There we go. It's as easy as that. It's probably not as easy to get it off again. I might have to read the instructions for taking it off. I don't want to bust it. Right. So there we go, one more with one belt loop hanger on it and another belt loop hanger there. So I'm going to put all these back in the box. Take the rock out. So you know, it just leaves me to thank Mad Dog Survival for all this gear. But not only is it gear, it's material to use and to learn from. And over this year, I shall use all of this. This shall all be used in one way or another. Let's put that away. So, you know, little things make big differences. Little things do make big differences. And it's only by getting out and playing with these things. It's no good having them. It's no good having a survival kit if you haven't actually mucked about with it. So I'm going to muck about with all this. I'll muck about till I've ruined a lot of it, broke a lot of it, but I'll have learned from it. Leave that out till last. That's good. I've yet to make a, well, I have made a water filter. I made it with sphagnum moss, and it came out, took all the bits out of it, but it still came out brown. I'm not saying it'll come out clear through that carbon, but it certainly would have helped. Oh, look at that. In my excitement, I forgot. I activated one of the hand warmers, didn't I? I took it out of the packet. In all the excitement, I forgot all about it, and my hands are getting quite cold now. So I'm hoping that when I put my hand in this pocket, and it is, it is, my pocket is warm. My pocket's warm. So that's warm. Not red hot, but warm. I can hold it like that. I can feel the heat building when I hold it like that. I can't keep holding it like that. It's getting too hot, holding it like that. I'm gonna have to put it back in my pocket. So, that is, I now consider that, I was gonna buy one. I now consider that as a essential winter item for a, not survival bag as such, well yeah, a survival bag really, or an EDC or whatever you want to call it. One of those in this sort of, in our winter. Right. Oh, it's alright, I just had a little panic there. I'd wondered where that had gone, the Frenzel lens. We've tested that. I didn't know, or I didn't remember that these two items were in. We tested the whistle, that works. We'll put some, I don't know what to put in there, probably matches, possibly matches, possibly. Right, so that's it. So I don't want to drag it out too long. I don't know how long it is. It's been probably too long, but it's exciting stuff. This is essential, but I may modify this slightly. I do carry a first aid kit with me at work, being the first aider, or one of the first aiders at work. If you know nothing about first aid, do some training, and if you're in the UK, the best people that I have had any experience with by far, and I have had experience across a wide range, I have been involved in first aid for a long time, and I am the first aider at work, by far St John Ambulance. St John Ambulance. So right, I don't want to lose anything on the way back. So I want to get this taped down. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just put this in the polythene bag. Right, I'm going to leave it at that because otherwise it's going to go on too long. I was going to get a little fire going, but the tide's coming in. I'll show you where it is. Right, well, the tide is rapidly coming in now, so I think we'll call it a day at that. And I look forward to testing a lot of that equipment in the very near future.